Yeah, it's a card game tier list for the most part, but I did include some of the games that I feel like I should talk about because they're like strategy, and I wouldn't call it card games, but I think some of them do deserve to be spoken about because like Warcraft Rumble was an interesting one. Teamfight Tactics, I put a lot of time in for. Basically, this is like my strategy game tier list, right? But it's mainly of card games. That's basically what this is going to be. So if you guys have any if you guys have any complaints, you can contact my lawyer. Okay, I'll just go in order. I think I have everything here. Do I have DC Dual Force? If I don't know if I'm missing one. There's a couple of them. Like I'll just talk about this real fast. Like I've been playing some card games off stream that I haven't talked about on stream yet. Like I played this game for a little bit. Weird fucking game. It's like a VR card game. I was gonna make a video on it, but I don't know, bro. it's so strange. Another one I played yesterday off stream. Someone in my chat's been telling me to play this for a hot minute. This game is really good. It's such a good roguelike. If you're looking for like a really good roguelike game where it's a little bit more catered around fantasy and there's like some interesting mechanics in the game, like this is a really good one. One I played recently, but I do want to play more of is this one. I don't know if you guys have seen this game. It's like a legitimate horror game with a card game inside of it. It's wild. Like I wasn't ready for how spooky this was going to be. So I have to get the right mind state for it, but I didn't include any of the cards. I basically only included games where I put a significant amount of time into to kind of give like an overall opinion. Okay. So we'll start off like I'm going to go with probably the easiest one because we just spoke about this is probably DC Dual Force. DC Dual Force just announced yesterday that they're shutting down their game, which is really surprising because I think the game literally came out in I want to say like July or maybe June. I can't remember exactly, but the fact that it's being shut down already is pretty bad. And I think that the main issue that I had with the game when I was playing it, and I said it on stream because they gave me like a early access to it with like I think it was every single card, was just visually it was disgusting to look at. I hated the way it looked, and when a game doesn't look really good, it makes me not want to play into it because it's hard for me to actually want to like be immersed in the experience. I think the gameplay pattern was a little weird too, so I do think like DC Dual Force definitely had a rough time, and I feel kind of bad because you don't want a game to just die in less than a year. That's horrific. But I think just for what it was, I think it's just an easy detour for me. Like I'll never want to go back to it. I'll never want to go back to it. So understandably, I feel bad for the company. I hope they can come back and do something else. But yeah, I feel it's what it is. All right, let's talk about probably. Let's do Darkest Dungeon because I'll get all the like non-S card games out of the way. So Darkest Dungeon was a game that I did for the 10-hour video. By the way, chat, it is coming soon. I promise. The 10-hour video will be out at some point. I'm not sure when. David is cooking it right now. But the thumbnail is done, so we're just waiting for that. Darkest Dungeon is not a card game, but it's a really good strategy game. And amongst all of these other games, there is nothing really like it. And when I think about all of the games I played this previous year, this is one that actually stands in my mind quite above a lot of them. And even though I didn't really finish the game, I probably am going to finish the game at some point, depending on how well the video does, because I would love to finish it on stream, but I might do it off stream. I'm gonna put this in A. Like I can't put an S because I didn't actually get to see the entire game, but for what it was and how much fun I had, and for the stress that it caused me, and all that stuff that encompasses what Darkest Dungeon is, I think it was a really freaking good game. Like it was so good. Like I'm so glad I gave it like a really good chance. And again, hopefully the video does more because I would absolutely love to play it on stream again, but we'll see. Teamfight Tactics. Okay, I'm gonna give Teamfight Tactics a B. I think my only complaint with Teamfight Tactics was this, like, I wish it was a little easier to get into. I feel like when you first start, you're so overloaded. You actually kind of need to pay a lot of attention. I feel like Teamfight Tactics is one of those games though, where it's like, you either put it really high up or really far down because it's just not your type of game. I think B is pretty safe. I think I need more time to really appreciate how great Teamfight Tactics can be. I haven't played set 10 yet. Like I only played set, like, I think it was like 9.5 when I played. But for what it is and what they're going for and how Riot designed the game, I think it's really good. Like it's a really, really good game for what it is. Okay, so what's another one? Warcraft Rumble. Okay, I don't know how you guys feel about Warcraft Rumble, but when I tried Warcraft Rumble for like the brief time on stream, I really liked it, and I played it more off stream because I was like, oh, this is a really good game. I slowly started to realize that I kind of got over it pretty fast. I was like, man, it's kind of the same thing over and over again. And my one problem with Warcraft Rumble above like anything else is I really didn't like the fact that you had to like move your screen to see everything. I'm hoping like this shows it a little bit. Where's the gameplay on this? Like not everything's on screen. So when you compare it to like when you compare it to a game like Clash Royale, which I will get to shortly, the one problem with this is like it just didn't feel great to play for a very long period of time, and that is mainly because I think that the everything's not on screen, and the fact you have to scroll back and forth, I think really killed the experience for me. I feel like if you really like this type of game, like this is probably one of the best versions of the game possible for like a mobile Warcraft variant game that Blizzard clearly put a lot of time into. Like, I'm not saying this game is bad designed. I'm just not a huge fan of the overall like camera movement thing. I think if you're a huge Warcraft 3 fan, you probably ended up loving this. So I'm probably just gonna, to be fair, like me personally, I'm gonna put it in C, just because I probably will never play this game again, unless they make it so you don't have to scroll through your camera, which probably is gonna be a little bit more pay to win. But I don't know, man. The weird thing is like it feels like the development team for Warcraft Rumble genuinely cares about their game and they wanted to make it as good as possible. And I haven't played it for like a really long period of time, so maybe the game is like a B at this point. But for me personally, I played it, I tried it, I gave it a good amount of hours. It just wasn't for me. Is it a bad game? I don't think so. But for a lot of people, I feel like the hype went down drastically. I'd actually be really curious real fast to just pull out the Google Trends for a second, if we don't mind. I know you guys are a big Google Trends guy. All right, well, as soon as this loads, oh, there we go. Okay. Warcraft Rumble. I'd just be really curious to see how well the game is going. Let's do worldwide. Let's just do YouTube search. I think YouTube search. See the past like 90 days. Yeah, the game kind of, that's brutal. That's rough. So it kind of went up, and that kind of like, just for a comparison, I'm just gonna see Clash Royale real fast and see where this is at. Yeah, like it's not even fucking close. Like it's not even the same goddamn league, bro. And it's crazy to think that like a Blizzard game didn't reach the hype of like Supercell, but Supercell's really, really popular. So I think it's completely fair. I think I like the stylized art of the game too. I think that's really good. But yeah, it's just, this game isn't for me. And I think for a lot of people, like it's not for them either. I think it would have done better if it had a PC client, which I'm really surprised they didn't give us a PC client. Maybe that's in the future. I don't know. Okay, is there any more wacky ones where they're like not card games? Okay, Backpack Battles. Again, not a card game, but I'm mainly talking about card games and like strategy games I believe that deserve to be spoken about. Backpack Battles. Crazy good game. Crazy good game. I think I put onto this game almost 40 hours. Most of that was off stream because I just couldn't stop myself from playing it. It was so fun. What a unique experience of like the whole backpack management system. If you have not played it and you like Teamfight Tactics or you like Hearthstone Battlegrounds, I mean, it's honestly a masterclass in what it is. And I'm really excited to see what the game looks like when it's fully released. And I do like the fact how like they're constantly updating the game. There's constant changes to like buffs and nerfs to items. There's always something to look forward to in this game. I'm just an absolute ginormous fan of the game. I think it's really well done. Arguably one of the best games I played throughout my entire year. Like this is just like strategy games and stuff. I know Super Autopets, I might add that. What about Castle, Cards and Castles? I don't know what the hell it is. I will actually add Super Autopets to this. Give me a hot sec. I do think Super Autopets needs to be spoken about because I played a shit ton of that game. Hold on. We'll talk about it. Let me add it in here. Give me a sec. Give me a hot second. All right, it's here. Okay. All right. I think that's most of the games. How did I forget about Super Autopets, man? What go to game? All right. I think is that it? Well, I guess we'll talk about this one and then we'll go to the like full-on card games. Okay. Super Autopets. If you guys have not played Super Autopets, the game is absolutely goated because it's so simple in its play pattern, but it also is just really strategic for some reason. And it's funny because the game looks like a children's game, but the more you get into it, you realize there's absolutely insane amount of choices you have to pick. And I love the aspect of like how you can combine stuff. I love the items. And there's also like a weekly, I don't know what they call it, like pack of random animals that make for a fun experience every single week. I think the best thing about this game, and I don't know if there's another game on this list, actually Backpack Battles has it, and that's probably why I liked it so much, is because you don't actually have to keep playing the game. Let's say you do your turn, but you want to come back to it. You could just leave, come back, finish off your turn. And I mean, I'm not, apparently Rarran apparently like came up with that, which I think he was the first one to really talk about it. But I think that's like a really big deal. And I can understand why card games took that approach, because it's actually so enjoyable. And I think a lot of other games in the future, especially when it's something like this, will probably adapt that philosophy, because I think it's just a really great experience to not worry about, oh, I have to finish this game, I'll be there in 1 sec, rather than like, oh, I could take a break and come back to this later. Super Autopats, go to game. Honestly, it's so much fun. It's on your phone, by the way. So if you're looking for a game to play, like when you're on the bus or when you're walking on the treadmill, etc., Super Autopats, I think, is a really good game to have on your phone. I think that's basically it for non-card games. I'm not going to switch to Hearthstone Battlegrounds, because I'm going to be completely honest, I didn't really play a ton of Battlegrounds this year. So I don't really, it's like the same vibe. Battlegrounds is good. If you like Battlegrounds, you like Battlegrounds, right? Okay, so let's go through, these are like the actual card games I played this year. Well, I guess we'll go in order. Okay, Monster Truck. Sautness in chat, for YouTube chat, really wanted me to play this. This is a roguelike game where you are basically running a train of monsters. I know, crazy. And they, I want to see some fucking, why is the Spider-Man meme here? You basically run a train of monsters, and the gameplay feels really good. And there's a lot of versatility and strategy. It's a really unique take on a roguelike. I personally don't think this game is hyped up enough, because this game, I wanted to just keep on jamming it over and over again. If I had more time, I would put so many more hours into this game. This is one of the best card game experiences I've had for a single player experience in a card game in a very long time. Yeah, this one looks pretty overwhelming, but I will say, like, if you're curious, like, I did a whole stream on it. You know, let me actually pull that up, so just so you have a good idea, because I think the stream does a better job for it. I was gonna do like a 10-hour video for it. Hold on, I was gonna do a 10-hour video for it, but I just don't have the time currently. But like, the game just feels so good. It's so fun to get into. There's so many different ways to play the game. Some of the combos are broken, which I think that's probably the downfall of Monster Train, is like, it's not like Slay the Spire where it feels like it's always a challenge. I think for a lot of the games, if you just high roll like the first couple of times, you just absolutely roll them. Music's good. Visuals, I think, looks really great. I think it's just a really nice polished card game roguelike with a unique take on the verticality notion of like a Monster Train. I'm a huge fan of it. Again, I will probably play it off stream. I think it's probably on the level of this, but I haven't played enough of it to really call it an A tier game, so I'll put it in B. I'm pretty confident in that. Okay, we'll talk about Artifact. I played Artifact for what, 3 hours, I think, but I was aware of the game beforehand, and I did try it when it came out. Hold on, my cat's crying. Moon! Moon's right there. Wait, no, that's my other cat. What the fuck? Artifact kind of sucks. Artifacts, it's funny, when I posted that, I have a video called, like, this sounds like I'm just shilling a bunch of videos, but I think it's important to bring it up. I tried a dead card game, I think is what I called it. Yeah, I made this game called I Tried a Dead Card Game, or this video called I Tried a Dead Card Game. And it's funny reading the comments in this video, because some people legitimately say that, like, the problem with Artifact, like, it's such a good game, strategically it's so fun, and etc. And I think it's fair to have your own opinion of like what you think is a fun game. But dude, my God, like, some of the time you play this game, it's just ridiculous. And I think the biggest problem with Artifact was the free to play aspect. We did like a little bit of a little description of like why Artifact kind of just didn't succeed right at the start, because you would think with like Valve and the people designing the game behind it, it would have done really well. But it's crazy to think that Hearthstone was a game that was released in 2014. Well, even 2013 if you count like closed beta, right? And they didn't learn like a single thing from why Hearthstone was so successful, right? Like visual clarity, easy to get into, free to play with the idea of like gaining a collection slowly, or you could put a lot of money into this. I don't know. There's so many things to go through. Now, I know they launched a different version of the game that only has like one board. That's the other problem with Artifact, is like there's 3 fucking boards on the screen. Like what am I gonna, like, what am I trying to solve, like a rocket equation, like how to get to the fucking moon? Like I don't think it's necessary, right? I think it probably goes without saying, like the biggest problem with Artifact is it just was too much for a lot of people. It didn't really fit the niche of anyone, and I'm sure there's a very small subsection of people that really enjoyed Artifact for what it was. I am not one of those people, so I put it in D. I think it's like the weirdest game I have played. I think DC Dual Force had much more of an appeal just because some of the features were much more enjoyable for me. And I didn't even play Artifact during its prime, bro. Like, imagine releasing a game and being like, yeah, in order to play this game, you not only have to pay $25, but you then also have to buy more cards after. That's whack shit. I don't know. Crazy fucking experience to me. All right, this is the game forward. Okay. Again, I did a video on this. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I actually bought this game on my phone because I legitimately think this is one of the best card games I have played in a very, very long time. It's super easy to get into. It is a very simple like gameplay loop. Like you're literally just dragging up and down. There's so many different characters to play in this game that I keep coming back to it. And usually what I do is when I like walk on the treadmill or like I'm doing cardio, for example, I'm usually playing a card game. And this is the card game that I have been playing substantially more of just because of I really like the gameplay loop. It's just I can't recommend this game enough. If you watch the video I released of it, which I believe I called it like I tried a card game that no one's played before. I forget what I called it. I would highly recommend you go watch it, see what you think of it, and then afterwards, if you think it's interesting, go buy it. I think it's like how much money is this right now? It's $8 on it's $8 on Steam, and I think on like the mobile device it's like $2. So, and that's Canadian money. So if you're in a country that has better currency than us, like this phenomenal game. Please like give it a shot. I could go watch the video if you haven't seen it. I'll show it in 1 second. Hold on, give me a hot sec. I'll just show it to you guys in case you see it. I called it this. I call it the best game no one has played. So if you want to go see more gameplay on this, I would highly recommend it. I think it's just really, really good. Great game, really simple. Love card games that are like really, really easy to get into. Nice profile avatar. Thanks, man. I've actually had this for so long at this point. From your video, it feels like it gets boring soon. Am I wrong? No, I really liked it. I think the gameplay loop is fun. Okay, so in terms of where I put on the list, I put it A. I don't know if it's necessarily perfect, but for what the game was going for, it definitely has captured my attention, and I'm a huge fan of it. I think it's amazing. Like it's a game that I feel like no one really gave a shot to because it's not a PvP, but I think for a single player game, especially if it's on mobile and it's on Steam, I think it's a recommend. Okay, I'm gonna leave Yu-Gi-Oh to the end because I think Yu-Gi-Oh deserves a little bit more marination as I talk through other of these cards, because let's be real here. Whenever I say Yu-Gi-Oh, it's gonna trigger some people. So I'll go to Lorcana. Okay, so if you guys don't know what Lorcana is a paper card game from Disney, and it does have like an online client called Pixelborn that a fan made, and I did another video on it if you're curious to see what the game looks like. But Lorcana is probably, for what, like I don't know how else to describe it. Disney clearly knew that they wanted to make a paper card game that is like the Hearthstone equivalent. Very easy to get into, but there is a lot of depth to the game. And I know it's really easy to like write off a paper card game, and Disney especially, because you know it's fucking Disney. Disney is like this corporate conglomerate that like makes billions of dollars, and all they give a fuck is like making more money. But the game's actually pretty fucking good. If I'm gonna be real, I am baffled that Disney and Ravensburg, I think that's the company that makes it, didn't make an online client for the game. Because I think if there was an online client from Disney and it was like as polished as Hearthstone, it would have been an S tier game. Because it's great. Like the mana system is really unique. There is a lot of different ways of like interacting with your player. It doesn't feel like you're getting aggro down when you do go against an aggro down. And there's so many, the versatility is crazy in deck building because it takes like the Runeterra approach, I guess the Magic approach too, but you can combine two colors together, and it makes it so like there is a ton of different ways of playing the game. It's very easy to get into. I don't know. If you get the chance to play this game, like even through Pixelborn, which is like a free third-party client, I feel like you'll actually end up loving it. And honestly, like the only reason I'm not going to put Lorcana in A is because they don't have an online client. I feel like the fact that like you have to go somewhere to play it, or you need someone to play it with in person, is great. And yeah, I talked about Pixelborn, but like it's not really from the game. So I feel like it's cheating if I do it. That's the thing. Since TFT's in the list, where's Dota Unalerts? I didn't play Dota Unalerts. That's probably why it's not here. These are only card games or games that like strategy s games that I played this year that I felt like were worth talking about. Okay, let's again. I'm gonna leave out Hearthstone. All right, Hearthstone. People are gonna shit on me for saying this, but Hearthstone's a pretty fucking good game. And I know I like talk about the game in like a very negative way sometimes, but I am so fucking glad that I pick this game as like the content creation game. Because the game, even though I've been playing it for 10 fucking years, I still play it almost every single day. And it's not like I fucking hate myself. I don't play standard as often as I do, but there's so much to the game that it makes Hearthstone such a great experience. And if I'm going to be real, like the fact that this game has been around for 10 fucking years and it's still like the #1 online card game, as far as I'm concerned, like I think, I wish Blizzard would give us the actual real numbers. And yeah, if you think to yourself like Hearthstone Battlegrounds doesn't count, I mean, I'm just going to count it under the umbrella. And I feel like it's a really easy game to shit on because so many people have tried out Hearthstone and been like, it's pay to win, or I don't like this game because, you know, draw RNG or whatever you want to say. But I think they do a really good job. And like, I have played so many different card games this year and nothing has matched the experience that Hearthstone has offered me. So again, I might be biased here. It's also just my full-time job. And without this game, I wouldn't be here today. So I might be slightly biased. I just think that after 10 fucking years, if a game is still like this popular and it's still kicking and they're still doing amazing things, you know what I mean? It's not like the most flashy fucking thing in the world anymore because it's, you know, it's kind of an old dude now. No one gives a fuck about it anymore. But for people who are playing it, people know why the game is so good. Like that's what I'm gonna say. Okay, let's do Runeterra. I actually gave Runeterra a ton of. I actually played Runeterra a ton, and you know what? Like me streaming Runeterra versus like me playing it offline. I played it more off stream than I played it more online because I was having so much fun with the game. There was a moment during like I think like the summer where I was like sick, maybe a little bit after the summer, where I was sick and all I was doing is playing Runeterra on my couch watching random shit. I almost got Masters 6 times, and I'm slightly jaded because I was so close 6 different times and then I didn't get in. I didn't get into Masters. But the game is fucking good, dude. And honestly, I feel really bad for Runeterra because I don't think Runeterra has ever truly gotten the spotlight it deserves. It's beautiful, really good animations. It's not the most complicated game. It definitely has a ton of nuance, and I feel like the skill level in Runeterra can be very high. But for a lot of new players trying out a card game, I don't think it's the worst place to go. But the most important thing about Runeterra by far is there's so many small features that I wish Hearthstone can take from this game. Like in-game tournament mode, looking at the full art, there's like what the fuck are they doing? Like what is Blizzard doing? I think Runeterra is a really good game. And I feel like a lot of people have not given Runeterra a shot. And I feel bad for it. I don't think it's gotten the advertising it deserves. I think the team does a really, really good job. And honestly, it's pretty sick. Also, chat, you know what? This isn't biased, but look at this. I didn't show this on stream. I showed like the Blizzard hat thing. But look at this bag that they sent me, bro. Like it's kind of sick. Like I'm a huge fan of the bag. And then on top of that, I haven't even opened this yet. This is my first time. Look at this. Look what they sent me, bro. Isn't that sick? I didn't even think I was gonna get that. Anyways, I was a huge fan. Shout out to the team. Now that being said, I think this is still way better. I think that's still way better. The huge hat is actually insane. But Runeterra is really good. I don't think it will be ever as popular as Hearthstone was, just because I think Hearthstone's simplicity and the way that you experience the game is just better for most people. But I don't think it's hard to, okay, hold on. How do I describe this? People often compare Hearthstone to Runeterra and Runeterra versus Hearthstone. I think they're going for completely different things. And I think that's what makes them so special and unique is that like they're both trying to do something different while also trying to achieve like simplicity and ease of use for players who have never played a card game before. Because if you think about it, like a lot of people who have played Legends of Runeterra have probably come from League of Legends or Teamfight Tactics, right? Hearthstone got a lot of people from like everywhere. So it's hard to imagine like where they were going for. I feel like in general, Hearthstone is just an easier game to get into just because of how simple it can be. Runeterra may not have that aspect of it because it is a little bit more intense when you get into it. Are you considering auto battle as a card game? I'm basically talking about every card game and like strategy game that I think is worth talking about on this list. That's why we talked about some other ones. Can you purchase the Badland hat? I think they only gave it to creators. I don't know. You know what really bothers me about Hearthstone, by the way, is like I wasn't a part of the creator. I wasn't a part of like the creator thing when Demon Hunter came out. So I missed the Warglaves chat. I didn't get the fucking Warglaves, and I'm so mad about it. I wanted the Warglaive. I wanted the Warglaive so bad. Okay, anyways. All right. Let's talk about Ring of Pain. Ring of Pain is, how do I even describe this game? Ring of Pain is really unique, is how I describe it. I think most of the time when you play a roguelike game, they all kind of play the same way, which is you have your hand, you draw a card, you add a card to your deck, you get some upgrades, you keep on going. But the base way of playing the game is you're either fighting one or multiple enemies. And that's usually how it goes for a lot of these roguelike deck builders games, right? And that's what Slay the Spire is. Ring of Pain is not even like, it follows like the same roguelike deck building thing, but the actual gameplay loop is so much different than a lot of these other games that I have played. Because the way that Ring of Pain works is rather than going against a mob, you're picking two cards that you either want to try to fight or try to move past, or you try to, pick up equipment. It's hard to describe it. Again, I did a stream. I haven't really done a video on Ring of Pain. So it's hard to, maybe I'll just whip it up. I'll just wipe it up. I need to like visually show people what I mean. Just so people understand. For people who are asking why isn't this game on my list, I think it's pretty obvious. I just didn't play it. So it's weird because, hold on, I gotta find like where I'm actually going against things. So what I mean is like, oh my god, dude, get to the fucking game here. Yeah, so it's weird because rather than having multiple enemies in front of you that you're just throwing cards at, you kind of have to pick between like going to the left or going to the right. It ends up being this experience that is so enthralling that you want to keep on coming back to. Also, this is where the first time I think the visual aspect really shines in this card, in the card games I'm talking about, other than like maybe Darkest Dungeon, because most of these are like colorful, they're like interesting to look at. I mean, forward not really, but Darkest Dungeon is where it gets a little gruesome. But everything else on this list I think does a really good job of making it like really visually appealing. I don't know if this is what they went for, but they clearly went for an aesthetic that like kind of curses you, because look at this. What is this thing? Like, it's disgusting. And like all the enemies are like this. It continues to be this weird game of like, oh my god, like am I really looking at that disgusting thing visually? Like the audio is really, really good. I don't know. This game is special. It's special. It's another game that I think a lot of people just didn't really give a good shot to. And I think it's a single player game. I don't remember how much money it actually is. Hold on. Ring of Pain. Ring of Pain is what? It's $6 right now on sale. So if you're looking for a interesting way of playing a roguelike game, I think Ring of Pain's a really good place to go. Regal, thank you so much again. Have a happy holidays, dude. And I hope you have a great new year as well. So I will probably put Ring of Pain like, hey, I think it's so unique in like the roguelike thing. Also, I'm not like ranking these in order for the record. I'm just kind of doing it. All right, Clash Royale. Okay, so I kind of spoke about Warcraft Rumble. Well, I spoke about Warcraft Rumble earlier. I think Clash Royale does literally everything better than Warcraft Rumble, except for the monetization aspect of it. Clash Royale's gameplay loop is one of the most addicting things I have ever played in a card game. They do such a good job of like making you want to continue playing their game. The gameplay loop is I described it as like the League of Legends of card games, because the League of Legends of card games is a game that like it's played by the second. You have to think about your strategy immediately. It's so wild to think of like how good this game is. It's so polished too. It's like the Hearthstone levels of polished. Now, the only thing holding Clash Royale back is, I think, the monetization. Like the only thing that really got me out of playing the game was because around like, I want to say like around 6,000 trophies, if I didn't spend money, I felt like it was really difficult to like continue playing the game, because it almost felt like a lot of my enemies were like fully stacked decks. and it kind of ruined the experience for me. But everything before that, the game is amazing. I also want to talk about how in Clash Royale, I think they do a really good job of doing like fun modes on the side, because the fun modes on the side are stuff like it's not the same gameplay loop of like the two towers or the two towers you're defending. They add like small mini games, kind of like Tavern Balls and Hearthstone. I don't know. I just feel like if Clash Royale didn't have the same monetization that it has, I feel like the game would be just the greatest card game of all time. It's so fun. It's so addicting. Like, I don't get into it until you like, if you don't want something that's going to take up a lot of your time. Because before I was talking about how Forward is the game that I was playing on like cardio to like pass the time, bro, this game was like it was like heroin. It was heroin. And if I'm not counting the monetization aspects of this game, I'm just gonna put it there. Like, I legitimately think Clash Royale as a game, and the animations, the sound, everything about it is so fucking well done, except for like the monetization. But it's a mobile game, so I understand why it's so bad. But you know what, dude? Like, the game's been out for 7 years, I think at this point, maybe 6 years, somewhere around there, and they haven't changed the monetization. So clearly they're fucking making a ton of money off this, and I don't blame them. The game is good enough where, see, like mobile games, what you want to do is you want to make the game fun, but not fun enough where someone doesn't want to spend money. And I think Clash Royale really hit the sweet spot on that. Like, the game is so fun. Like, baseline, it's so fun, it's so addicting, and that it makes you want to spend money because you want to keep on playing and you want to get these new cards, and like I don't forget what they're called, the characters themselves, and there's hero cards, and it keeps on going. Cosmetics, I don't know, it's great. It's really, really good. Really, really good. I think the gameplay loop is amazing. All right, Magic Arena, I can't qualify this as in-person Magic because I didn't get to play in-person Magic, unfortunately. The Magic Arena, I think, was a really good showcase of Magic the Gathering for someone who has absolutely never played it before. It did, I think, I'll get to this later, but compared to a game like Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, Magic Arena can be a very complicated game, and the tutorial of Magic Arena is so well done that I felt like I understood everything about Magic and I was ready for more. And to do a tutorial like that for a game as convoluted as Magic Arena or Magic the Gathering in general, they did a really, really good job. Now, I can't compare it to real life Magic, but I do think that Magic Arena was just a really good game. Like, you played Magic, it felt good playing it, it didn't feel bad playing it, the animations are clean, audio is good. It was just, hey dude, you want to play Magic? Well, there you go. Now you can play. You don't have to go to your like local card shop to play it. I can't, like, I don't really have anything bad to say about it. I really don't. Like, I didn't deal with any bugs. I didn't buy anything, to be fair. So I don't know if the pricing is like insane, but I think we're like in 2023, and this is partially one of the reasons why I think Dual Force just wasn't really successful, is you have so many great card games to choose from that if you're going to make a brand new card game, you have to make it a fucking banger. Like, you have to go out of the way to make something that revolutionizes the card game space. So, I mean, I don't know. I think it's like, it'd definitely be somewhere around here. I think if we're counting pricing, I guess maybe here, but like, I think Magic Arena is pretty good. I think it was really, really great. Are these just card games you played? I mean, how do I review a game I haven't played before? Backpack and TXT are card games. We talked about it earlier. It's just basically card games that it's games that I think are worth talking about in the strategy space. That's what I'm talking about. Again, if you guys have any questions, I promise you, like, they're already answered in the stream. You can just rewind on YouTube chat. Okay, so I think that I'm pretty happy with this list so far. Okay, Marvel Snap. All right, Marvel Snap's an interesting one because, again, this is like, how do I describe this? Marvel Snap is a game that I think is, out of every game on this list, is the best designed card game here for what it was going for. I don't think I have played a game as addicting as Marvel Snap for a hot minute. I was playing that shit. I was in fucking Disney World, bro, and every chance I had, I was playing Marvel Snap. Like, it was so addicting. The play pattern of Marvel Snap is really interesting because you're playing at the same time, and it's like almost like gambling, but it's more like blackjack, because blackjack, like you have a little bit more, you have a little bit more of like a strategy to it. I think that's what Marvel Snap really did. Legitimately, I think what Marvel Snap does really well is the gameplay loop is addicting enough where I want to continue playing the game, but not frustrating enough where I want to close Marvel Snap. Were some cases where like the metagame kind of pulled me out a little bit. I don't know. Marvel Snap, I think, is a really well designed game. The problem with Marvel Snap, and this is why I stopped playing it, was because the way that you get cards is so fucking miserable in this game. It stopped me completely. Because here's the thing about Marvel Snap. I actually have to pull up Paint for this. As someone who has, I'm not launching Marvel Snap. I'm not launching Marvel Snap. As someone who has a degree in mobile computing, and like that's where my degree is. We learned a lot about like the psychology of, close this shit, bro. I'm not playing this game. We learned a lot about the psychology of what makes a mobile game really addicting, and Marvel Snap is, I think, a master class in showing like how to get someone addicted to a mobile game, because the game is good, right? They feed you enough at the start of the game where you think you have a really good baseline for Marvel Snap. You have a ton of cards at the beginning. Like the game actually gives you a ton of content right at the start, so that now you're already invested. So you have the sunk cost like fallacy into your brain as you play Marvel Snap. Also, Marvel Snap hits you with dopamine out of your fucking mind, because there's so many great ways of like your brain going, wow, we'll give you more of that, give me more of that. The cash system, the gameplay loop, the RNG aspect. Winning a game feels so fucking good in Marvel Snap. And then you continue going, getting more cards, and getting cards in this game. I haven't played it in fucking months, to be completely honest with you, so I don't know what it's like now. I haven't tried the new monetization system. Like I stopped playing the game because of how you got more cards, but the way that they've designed it and the way that it makes you think about how you achieve more cards, the game feels it makes your brain go, yes, fucking finally I got another card. And then the loop keeps going on and on and on and on and on. Like it just keeps on going. So the only way you really break out of this game is if the metagame sucks, so it doesn't feel as great to play because you get locked down, or you have a moment of clarity in your mind that's like, wait, I'm not getting nearly as much stuff I thought I was getting. Also, this isn't even in the gameplay loop. The variance in this game, like the way that you get cosmetics in Marvel Snap, fucking beautiful. Like I don't ignore my writing, but the variance of Marvel Snap is another great reason for you to want to continue playing it, because not only are you collecting cards, you're collecting these variants, which makes you want to keep going and going and going because there's so many to collect. Masterclass in psychology of making you want to continue playing their game. It blows my fucking mind how smartly the game is designed and how good the gameplay loop is. The only problem with Marvel Snap, as far as I was concerned, was the monetization and how you get more cards. Because if you compare it to literally any other card game in existence, Marvel Snap is really fucking bad at giving you new cards. I think it's absolutely bullshit that there's no way for you to just outright buy a brand new card. I think that's crazy to me. So Marvel Snap, just like Clash Royale, I think if I'm mainly only talking about the gameplay loop here, but I think it's really tough to be like not bring up the monetization of it. But that being said, and I know some people are going to be like, that's not true. Like the game is really fucking good. And even if I don't think the monetization is great, and I think it's the worst quality of the experience, this game is so brilliantly designed and so fucking fun that I can't imagine like hating on the game itself. Of course. I think the game's really well done. I think the 3 locations, the consistent game plans with like your decks, because there's like only like 14 cards or whatever. It's so good. It's so good. And like, I'm sure people I shit on the game. People shit on the game all the time, but it's phenomenal. And I think this probably has one of the longest, it has potential for like longevity out of its ass, because of how fun the gameplay is. Like guys, I can't literally imagine being in Disney World, chat. Imagine being in Disney World and I'm walking around and I'm like, man, I just want to play Marvel Snap, dude. Like that's great. That blows my mind how addicting and how fun the game was. And I don't know if that's necessarily like a huge positive, but for if that's how the game was designed, they absolutely nailed it. They absolutely nailed it. And I played it like a ton this year, like earlier in the year. I stopped probably around, it was a little after Disney World. I think after I hit Infinite, I was like, okay, I kind of did what I wanted to do. So I think it was, I think I broke the loop, which is really important to me. Because I'm kind of glad I don't like just play it all the time now, but I think it was really, I don't know. I think it's a good game. I think it's a really good game. Okay, Slay the Spire. God, I went on a little rant there for Marvel Snap. Slay the Spire. I mean, what do you want me to say? Slay the Spire's like absolutely goated. The game is so good. It's probably the, if you're gonna make a roguelike card game, Slay the Spire is the model that you're basing it on. It's phenomenal. Animations are good. There's so much variety. It feels really good to play. The animations and responsiveness of this game is literally just like Hearthstone. So, I mean, what do you want me to do? Like, I don't know if there's anything else to say. Like, mods are really good. Like, it arguably might be the greatest card game in existence currently. Like, if we're not counting like strictly PvP games, like I think Slay the Spire is just top fucking notch, and it's hard to even criticize the game. It's hard to criticize the game. I like the way it looked. I think there's a lot of flavor in the cards. I think the little random events that happens is so good. I'm just trying to think of like any negatives towards Slay the Spire. And I think the crazy thing about Slay the Spire is how much content it gives you for a game that costs how much money right now on Steam. Hold on. Right now on Steam, you can get Slay the Spire for $10 fucking. So, I mean, that's wild. Like, I can't think of a negative for it. I think it's really good. I think it's the highest S tier. It almost deserves its own tier for what it is. Good fucking game. Like, there's nothing else. There's literally nothing else to say. It's just a good game. And that's it. That's all that matters. It's a good game. Also, the great thing about Slay the Spire is it's a one-time purchase. Once you buy it, you're done. Once you buy it, you're done. That's basically what it is. And that's great. Okay. The Pokemon TCG. I'm not counting collecting cards because I don't think collecting cards is really a part of the actual game itself. I went into Pokemon thinking it was going to be the worst game possible because I absolutely fucking hated it last year. I hated it. I absolutely despised it. I hated it more than any other card game I played. But Pokemon, it's a pretty good game. Like it's honestly a lot better than I thought it was going to be. The problem with Pokemon though is the client sucks. I think that's the most important thing, but also like I feel like they're missing a lot of stuff in Pokemon is what I would describe it as. I didn't do a ton of looking around the client and seeing what you can do, but you know what? Actually, now that I think about it in hindsight, it's the only card game I am aware of where you can customize an avatar. I'm trying to think if I could do that in any of these other card games. I guess Backpack Battles you can, but like not like a card. Like that's not really like a card game. I really liked Pokemon. It's because Pokemon's about physical card game first and digital second. I mean, I don't think that's an excuse. I'm gonna be fucking honest, because Magic Arena is the online version and it's definitely secondary to the physical version, and Magic Arena does a really good job. Pokemon has no excuse, especially because they make a fuck ton of money from their IP. So they literally made it as like, hey guys, you can play with these cards online. Like, I don't know. I don't think that flies. They have so much money that I don't think flies. And it's funny because like, if I compare it to other Pokemon games, it's in the same realm. The game is good. But like, why is there so much bugs in Pokemon? What the hell is going on with that? You know what I mean? Like, what is the problem here? So I don't know. I think Pokemon's fine. I think it does a really good job monetization wise. Like, you literally don't have to spend anything and you can probably get every card in the game. Like, as long as you're playing the game, which that's all they really want you to do. Because I think for like, Pokemon can almost be looked as like an advertisement for their physical card game. So, I mean, it is what it is. I liked it. I thought it was good. I'm really glad I liked it because I hated it so much last year. I'm kind of like, I don't think it's an S tier though. Like, if I think of like the mechanics of Pokemon, God, it's a good game. There were games where I felt like you just lost though on turn one. Well, not lost, but you're definitely in a huge disadvantage
It was fun though. Like it surprises you how good the game can actually be. It's pretty complex, but it's like a dumbed down version of Yu-Gi-Oh. You know what's weird is I wonder how much I would have liked Yu-Gi-Oh if I did Pokemon first. Like maybe the ordering I did these card games were so, I don't know. I don't think Pokemon's an us. Like if I'm comparing it to the rest of them and how they did their game, I don't think Pokemon's an us. I feel like if the card game was more popular, like if the card game was better, it'd be more popular. Most people I know who like are like aware and actually have Pokemon trading cards don't play the fucking game. It's just to buy the cards and collect them and sell them. So like that probably speaks more to what Pokemon is. I liked it. I don't see myself ever going back to Pokemon though. That's my thing. Like I think Runeterra wanted me to keep coming back. Marble Snap did a better job of like me wanting to play more because the gameplay was better. Nothing against Pokemon. I'm sure other people liked it more than I did. I just think it's like probably like somewhere around here. I think it's actually kind of like a B. Like in comparison to these games, like I think these ones are on a different level. I might reorder some of these. Okay, let's talk about Inscription. Inscription is a really good game that I didn't want to play after the first act. My problem with Inscription, and this is just my personal preference, is I don't like what it's like. Okay, you know when you listen to, I don't know how many guys listen to like rap music, but in a rap song, when they swap the beat in a rap song, it's kind of sick because it's like, oh shit, like a switch up. Like I was used to the tempo and now I'm like, oh fuck, what's going on, right? Inscription kind of did that, but then I don't know why they changed it so differently. Because after the first act was finished, you know what the problem is like I'm gonna have to pull a pain for Inscription, and this is maybe why. So full transparency here, if you don't know, it has an act one, it has act one, it has an act one, it has an act two, it has an act three. Okay, I actually watched Moon, another streamer, play the whole game because he did it recently, because I was like really curious to see how someone who like other than me would like the game. Act one, if I'm talking like levels of how good it was, like this is like good. This, I don't know. Let me just write this in real fast because I feel like this is going to really clarify my point rather than talking. The way that this would works is act one blew its fucking load on you. Like it just went like all over your face, right? Like all over your face, because the game is like, it's a fucking master class in what it was going for. Like it said to you, this is the game. You're gonna fucking like it. There's so much going on. It's so well made. It's perfect. Like this is the game, and it's only gonna get worse from here. So the problem is, if you loved act one, but then you don't like the visuals and the aesthetic and the gameplay pattern of act two, like this goes down significantly. And I feel like that's where I was, because the second we got to act two, I was like, I mean, the load's already blown. Am I really gonna like it as much as act one? And then act three also kind of follows the same thing as far as I'm concerned. I didn't personally play it. I watched someone else play these two acts. But if I'm gonna call Inscription a bad game, I'd be fucking out of my mind, because what this experience is right here, like if we're talking purely from act one right here, this was the fucking best thing I have played in a hot minute. Like it's so good. The music and I still remember the audio of the game, like the music and the clawing, and like when you take your fucking eye out, right? Again, this is my personal preference. I feel like people are gonna have their own preference on how they feel about Inscription, which is completely fine. I'm not gonna tell you that you're like wrong for liking the game. Yo, Unkanked, thanks for the sub, I appreciate it. Me personally, I am not someone who actually thinks that these two are even close to what act one was. That's just my opinion. But I do think act one is so goddamn good that it's hard to be like critical of the entire experience. It's almost like, okay, I say this a lot for people on Netflix. Netflix often, okay, actually really good. This is a really good analogy here. Have you guys ever seen the show Westworld before? Westworld, if you take the first season on its own, might be one of the best shows I've ever seen in my fucking life. The first season of Westworld is an experience I will never forget, and I'm so glad I watched it live. It was incredible. But I almost feel like Westworld was supposed to be a one season event, but then the show was so good and so popular, HBO had to renew it for a second season. But the second season of Westworld was not nearly as good as the first season. It wasn't nearly as good as the first season. And then like the show, in my opinion, is only going to get worse. Like, oh, it only got worse. I stopped watching after the second season because I was like, why am I going to do this? Now, if even the third act of this game, like me personally, right? Like I think it was right here watching Moon play it. But if the third act even went up, I still feel like there's a huge disconnect here because this is such a good experience and then you go to this. So again, I'm sure the designers of the game really thought it was a good idea because of how the story unfolds in front of you, which is awesome, right? I feel like the whole like actual story aspect of this game is really cool. And that's something that like a lot of these other card games don't really have. I barely spoke about it for the Ring of Pain one in Darkest Dungeon, but me personally, and again, this might trigger a lot of people here, but I don't think it's an S tier game. I think it's like an A. I think it's an A. Maybe if in hindsight, if I go back and play it again at some point, it might be up there. It was made by one guy too. I mean, you know, it's tough because I do really appreciate the fact that it was made from one guy. Like it's the same thing with Hollow Knight, man. Okay, it's the same thing with Hollow Knight. People gave me shit for like not liking the bosses in Hollow Knight, but overall it was a really great experience, right? But I do have that one thing about it that I did not like. So how am I gonna put it in S tier when I truly felt like Act 2 was such a letdown compared to Act 1? I also haven't played Casey's mod yet. I don't know what the fuck that's like. I'm sure it's great. But me personally, I just feel like Inscription was it blew its load on Act 1 and then it kind of dropped the ball afterwards. You might feel like Act 2 and Act 3 are on the same level. I just feel like this is it. Where's Gwen? I didn't play Gwen this year. I played Gwen last year. If you want my honest take where Gwen is, I'd put it in fucking like B. Actually, I'd have to think about that a little more. Okay, let's talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! All right, I'm sure a lot of you guys are sitting here fucking with your pants undone, just edging to Yu-Gi-Oh! Here. I'm gonna be real with you guys, chat. Yu-Gi-Oh! I think, how do I even describe this? I didn't get to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, I didn't get to play it. Or at least I didn't get to play what Master Duel was. So when I think about what makes Yu-Gi-Oh! Such a good game, it's the understanding of like all of these cards working in tandem to make a really fucking cool deck. What I experienced was not that. I experienced the game that was completely not that is what I don't even know what the fuck I experienced. I experienced a game that made me not want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! It made me want to disregard everything Yu-Gi-Oh! Related. I was not having fun. I just felt like it was not a great experience to me. And I can go on a fucking tangent about like how you're supposed to introduce people to the game. But I want to take the time here to really speak about why I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Just wasn't a great experience for me, because people thought in that video that I went in there with a fucking vendetta to Yu-Gi-Oh! For the record, I hated Pokemon more than I hated Yu-Gi-Oh! I didn't even hate Yu-Gi-Oh! To be fair. I hated Pokemon. And I went into Pokemon with really low expectations, and I really liked Pokemon in the end. Because Pokemon, as much as it's not the perfect card game in my experience, it did a really good job of explaining to you what the game's going to play like. And when it actually translates over to a real game, it's what it was. Basically 1-to-1. I didn't have to know every fucking card. I didn't have to read every single card. It showed you what the game was, and it translated over to a real game. Master Duel did not do a great job of that. And because of that, how could someone like the game if they didn't actually learn how to play the game? And it blows my mind because a lot of the comments on that video that I made talking about like my experience with Master Duel said to me, I didn't read cards, but I did read cards. I was reading the cards. It's just so much sensory overload and so much information at once that I just can't imagine a world where most people are going to get into Yu-Gi-Oh! And absolutely like it. It doesn't make any sense to me. But that being said, I can't really critique Yu-Gi-Oh! For the game it was because I didn't fucking play it, right? Like I didn't actually give it a fair chance. No, not a fair. I gave it a fair chance. It didn't give me a fair chance is what I should say, because it didn't teach me how to play your fucking game. So there is no way, like there's no way I can actually feel good about putting this in D because I didn't get to play it. Right now, I did get the opportunity to talk to Simo about it, and Simo showed me an older version of Yu-Gi-Oh! But the thing is that when we did that video as well, I didn't really get like a tutorial, right? We kind of just got into a call and we slowly kind of started playing the game. So I didn't get any like tutorial. It was just what Simo was telling me in real time, and you guys basically saw my live reaction to it. I didn't get to read the cards. Not that this is Simo's fault. He's a busy guy, and I respect the opinion, right? So again, in both situations with Edison and Master Duel, whatever the fuck that is, like standard, I guess, I almost feel like I didn't really play the game. Simo, without Simo, by the way, I think I would have still been like, what the fuck's going on? But again, I can't really critique Edison because there was no tutorial going into that. I just think like this is me personally, unless you're willing to really buckle down, watch a lot of videos, and go to this full like understanding of what makes Yu-Gi-Oh so good and how you're supposed to play it and what makes it so fun, Yu-Gi-Oh will never be in my mind past a B. Because if I can't play the game from your tutorial, there's no way I'm going to respect the game. There's no way I'm going to respect the game. And this has nothing to do with the cards themselves, right? This has nothing to do with like the player base, even though fuck Yu-Gi-Oh players. I'm just going to say it honestly. I've read some bullshit from Yu-Gi-Oh players fucking coping out of their mind. I just can't put it higher than that. And even though I made that video experience in a vacuum, like I played Yu-Gi-Oh and I made that video, I talked about it. And then I went to Magic, right? And I was worried for Magic because Magic is also a pretty complex game. But Magic did a really great job of showing you how to play the game. And then Pokemon also did it. And every other card game afterwards did it. So it's almost like maybe if Yu-Gi-Oh could figure out a way to introduce someone to their game better than they currently have in Master Duel, I'm sure it's great. Now, I'm also somebody who is not going to go out of their way to watch YouTube videos going into a game. If I'm going to watch a YouTube video to be better at a game, I'm at least putting 3 hours before I even pull up a YouTube video. Like I would need a very genuine reason of like, oh, I'm trying to find this unlockable, or I'm trying to learn how to maximize my combos on this champion in League of Legends. I'm not going to watch a fucking tutorial to get into a card game, because the card game is supposed to show you how the card game is played. And every other one of these games in S tier does a really good job of introducing you to the mechanics and then letting you experience it and learning the nuances without you feeling like you're lost. And this is I'm lost. I was just truly lost. And it's like finding a treasure without a map. Like, where the fuck do you go? So I don't know. I just feel like Yu-Gi-Oh is a game, especially Master Duel, where I just didn't get to experience it fully. And I think that's my fundamental problem with Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm trying to think if I would make any other changes on this list now that I finished it. No, I think it's a pretty good list. Again, I added card games that weren't necessarily here. Shadowverse is another game I played this year. I think I played it for like 2.5 hours, but I'm not going to really critique Shadowverse because I think the problem with Shadowverse for me was I'm just not an anime person. So I think like the experience is not for me, is what I'll say. Can you put Monster Train in A tier? No. No. I think Ring of Pain's a better game. You know what my thing about Ring of Pain is Ring of Pain is so unique in how they made their game that I think like it's just a better experience. But I'm not saying Monster Train's a bad game. I think what Monster Train is lacking is at some point it feels like the game is kind of cheesy, because some of the like I played the game for 4 hours and I think I won 3 out of 4 of my runs just because the combos I was getting was absolutely fucking insane. And it felt like it was actually just kind of like you get the Giga Nuts and that's what the game is, which isn't a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but Ring of Pain itself was so unique in how they did their game that I think it deserves a spot above. Honestly, this might be a hot take, but I might move this down here now that I'm looking at it. Because how could I put a game in A if I didn't even play I didn't like Act 2 and I wasn't going to play Act 3. But I'll leave it up here. What is Slay the Spire? Ain't no way my man just said that. Why didn't you play Mini and Masters? I don't have time, man. On a game that requires you to have a specific set of cards in every deck, okay, or you just lose, is not a card game. What are you talking about? Have you tried the Digimon? I've not tried Digimon, no. I think the core element of Yu-Gi-Oh, the core gameplay is nice. Pete, I didn't get to play the game. So I literally, I have to just ignore that. Why is TFT a B? I explained it. Go back and watch it. Like, why am I going through this again? I explained all of this. I feel like, okay, like again, this is my personal preference. If you don't like my personal preference, that's fine. Everyone's gonna have their own unique take on their experiences and what they think is a good game and what's not a good game. But I think my S tier list I'm pretty happy with. I think all of those games were really fucking fun, and I have no regrets playing them. And honestly, if it wasn't for the monetization for Clash Royale, I think it would be the highest rated game on this list. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. I think it would be the highest one. I had the most fun with Clash Royale this year, I think, out of all these games. But the monetization is the only thing that was holding me back. Slay the Spire is goated. Like, it's such a good game. Hearthstone's amazing. Really good game. I've just been playing the game for 10 years, so I shit talk it all the time. But I understand how good the game is. Runeterra, really blessed surprise. Really well-made game. I think Runeterra's downfall is the button, which I talked about in the video. And I think Riot doesn't do a good enough job of advertising the game. Magic Arena is a good game that I wish I had more time to put into. And Marvel Snap, I went through the whole psychology of why the game is so well designed. So I feel like all of these are good. I feel like this is a safe place. What do you guys think? You guys think my tier list is good, or you guys think it's shit? If you put Clash Royale in S, then definitely play Minion Masters. I might. I think Solitaire is an A because of the lack of updates. True. Darkest Dungeon's kind of random. I just said at the start of the stream, it's like, it's strategy game. Like, it's mainly card games, but it's strategy games that I would want to talk about in this list, just in comparison, because I really liked it. Like, Teamfight Tactics isn't a card game, but I feel like it's important to put it on. Let's say DC Duel Force is the most disappointing game I've ever seen. I think it is just like, DC Duel Force is just a tragic story, dude. Again, people might be like, Rarran, why are you putting Hearthstone S tier? Hearthstone is the foundation for all of these games. Like, if it wasn't for Hearthstone, I don't know if Slay the Spire would have been as good, right? I don't know if Runeterra would have been as good. I don't know if Magic Arena would have been as good, right? I don't know if Marvel Snap would have been as good. Hearthstone's like the fucking granddad of like making a good experience in a card game. It's insane. Like, and it still shows to this day why it's the fucking GOAT of animations and experience for card games. Like, it literally is. I'm not saying AHS invented Magic. I'm saying Magic Arena. Because, like, would Magic Arena even fucking exist if Hearthstone wasn't released? I don't know, right? Like, Hearthstone is one of the foundational pillars to the online card game scene currently. And after 10 years, it is still holding it down for like arguably the fucking best experience ever made for a card game. It's insane. Artifact in D is rude to all our cards games in D. I mean, I put D for like games I felt like weren't good. You know what I mean? Forgot to add Plants vs. Zombies, the card game. I haven't played it. Kind of cope though. Slay the Spire isn't inspired by HS. I'm not saying that the gameplay loop is inspired by HS. I'm saying the way the game looks in design, like visually, I think took inspiration from Hearthstone. Hearthstone is, I'm telling you guys, I know it sounds like I'm coping, but like Hearthstone, the way that is designed visually with audio and like the overall experience of clicking the cards is the pinnacle of like how these games are made. And I'm sure Slay the Spire looked at that and went, okay, we need to make this as hard as we need to mimic this as much as possible for our game, because it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. You try the One Piece card game if it comes to a video game format. Yeah, I'll try it. I was gonna try it, but I don't really like the way the simulator looks, so I don't want to ruin my experience. Where's Gwen, dude? I don't know how you guys keep typing this message. If it's not here, if it's not here, I didn't play it this year. No wonder you hate YouTube chat. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. Amen. Amen. YouTube comments in 2023. Where's your Disney game that you liked? It's right here. Should have played Master Duel when it first came out for a better experience. Oh yeah, fuck me, man. That's like saying I should have bought a house in 2000 so I could have got one now. I should have just done it. The year, I don't even know what year Master Duel came out. Was it 2020? Because 2020 Hearthstone released Demon Hunter, and then they yeah, there's no way. There was no time. Have you tried Warhammer? No. Disney makes a digital version. Yeah. That's why, like, by the way, that's the only reason I put Lorcana at B, is because if it had an online version of cards, like, my problem with Lorcana is the game's so fucking good, and there is an online simulator for it. But if Disney made a first party Lorcana thing, it'd be like here, because as long as the client's good, it'd be really good. It's stupid of you not to go back in time and play the game back then. Again, I'd be baffled if I got hate comments for the way I described Yu-Gi-Oh. I'd be baffled. Like, you guys have to, if someone in Yu-Gi-Oh was triggered from the way I described it, like, you take a step back, bro. Like, take a step back. Like, in comparison to every one of these card games, this is the only game I had played this year that did a horrible job of explaining how the game is played. The only one. The rest of them were so good at doing it. So like, I couldn't imagine people being mad at me for saying that. You know what I mean? Did you ever play a game of like The Binding of Isaac? Maybe at some point. What about screenplay? Screenplay I think is fun, but I don't see at the moment I don't see its longevity. I don't see its longevity. I don't see it. We'll see though. Where would Hearthstone Mercenaries be on this list? Well, currently it'd be in fucking D because it's dead. You know what's fucked? Okay, this is the end of this tier list. I hope you guys liked it, but